Okay, welcome back. This is the sixth in a series that I'm doing about the personal energy field and aura. And I urge people to watch the earlier ones because there's a lot of information in there. This is about the fourth screen here. Now, this screen's going to probably serve me for a while, next couple of episodes here. And I want to get into it just a little bit here. We were talking in the last segment about various positions and mudras. We were talking about humility and has the interesting thing about how for a human being to ground themselves requires humility. It requires, that's just a word for it. If you don't like that word, it's more of a receptivity. In other words, in the big scheme of things, our little energy field is very, very small, and we're vulnerable. So, and to some degree, whether we have a proud ego or not, human beings need to have refuge. They need to have help sometimes with their fields, their life force. So, for thousands of years, people have innately found themselves using positions like this or like this. And here I've drawn. You have people bowing. They get into that ground egg, just trying to bring in and draw and trying to synchronize with the earth, the great earth, the Mother Earth. It's not an act of inferiority, it's an act of recognition of the facts. The fact is that we're small, but we can feel the bigness. We're small physically, but we can feel the bigness by, again, similar position. And then this position, where people reach. They're reaching, they're radiating, they're broadcasting. So people there'll be a charge between the earth and the air, and how the voice vibrates the ethers. Now, there's a lot in this. I don't have any preparation for these videos, by the way. They're usually done on the first take. And I make a drawing beforehand, some ideas that come to my mind, and I'm going to go through these things here a little bit. And we might have to get into a number of other segments just with this particular screen here. As we've already recognized, we have this system around us. Animals have a system around them. It's involved with a kind of energy that metaphysics or Eastern teaching might call prana or chi. Or there's actually a variety of different energies. Some of them are similar, some of them are related. But the big picture is there's electrical energy. And I want to give you a funny example here, a couple things. So your probably eyes going to go to this one about the dogs. Now that's a cute picture. We all know we see dogs go up and they touch each other's nose and they just check each other out. Well, dogs don't have any protocols, politically correct ideas about what they're supposed to do. So they follow the laws of nature and physics, electronics, attraction. Now, we know that a dog has a very powerful heart. Their pranic energy all hearts do this, but the big animals, dogs, horses, particular pounding electrical pulses that are shooting through the bodies and shooting out into space. So when dogs meet, there's like a whole bunch of sparks. They touch noses. They ground each other. There's a liquid touch, actually. They exchange breaths. They smell each other. They sense all this field stuff here that's going on around them. And then after that, something powerful happens. The spark happens here, like here's a spark with two hearts. And then it takes sometimes a while for the brain to finally catch up and realize, oh yes, friend. You know, you meet somebody and boom, there's some kind of spark there. It takes a while for the brain to catch up maybe. Now, in this position over here, a couple of people dancing or friends or just high-fiving each other, and you have this field, it's kind of a pulse that radiates out. Their hands, a little energy there, a little spark there. Maybe they're dancing or something. So, in our mannerisms, in our behavior with animals and plants and people, we have the operation of a number of kinds of energy. We have capacitance. Now, capacitance up here, capacitance is a way that electrically energy can be stored. We use it in electronics all the time. Without capacitance, we wouldn't have modern electronics, radio antennas, or any of that stuff. It has to do with the potential and how energy is stored. We have what they call a semiconductor, which we make that can measure and so on and be precise. But in nature, we don't have the precision. We still have capacitance. We have the storage of energy in electric fields in a very big variety of ways. It can happen within the aura, within the body, within the tissues, because as we know, there's many different kinds of capacitors in electronics. Some of them are air, some of them are oil, some of them are, we call dry or powder. There's a lot of different materials. Some work better than others, but we need to hold electricity in a field is a kind of capacitance, a tension, you might say, that's contained. Capacitors have a container. Typically, they're hard. In the old days, they used to be rather big, and a large capacitor was very valuable because it held a charge. It could be a backup power. A capacitor can regulate and even out the flow of pulses in electronics. So we have capacitance, a static and kinetic electricity. Now I'm going to go through it quickly here because I have to go through this on another segment. But by the using of this power, you can get into this, ground yourself, the fetal position, smoothing out, taking advantage of the earth energy. Here again, now this is the person here where you channel the power coming from outside down, power coming from underneath up. They meet by shooting out the energy in a particular direction using the hands. People know about this. But this is something that every human being can do. There's a lot in this. If you just look now, all the aura on the human being is in electrical fields. Now we're going to go through this here quickly. Here, there's different parts of the body that comprise our system: hair, skin, touch, the cells, water, motion, the matrix. The electric currents, the nerves, the nerve networks. Heat, fire. This is basically a chemical energy. Lights. Light's very subtle. We have light in our aura. We have light in our system. We use light. We're affected by light. People don't think about that. We think of our body just water, whatever, light. The crystalline solid structure, the bone, the glands and chemicals, and smell. Now, I'm going to have to go into this more. We're a radio antenna, for example, and we receive pulses. This is very fascinating, and I'll have to get into another segment.